Hello, everybody, and welcome to Survivor with Jamie, Jack, and Colleen. My name is Colleen.
I'm Jamie.
And I still have Janine's immunity idol.
And that's Shandy. We're joined by the one and only Shandy Pants. Woo!
Hello. Thanks for having me on.
Hello. So, quick update. Jack is not with us tonight. Sorry. Jack is not with us tonight because I'm pretty confident that he has pneumonia. The grandkids that he watched, they 3 for 3 have RSV, tested positive. Poor Jack was so sick this weekend that he coughed himself into passing out.
Aww.
And messaged me earlier that he was still coughing really bad and he's already passed out once doing a podcast and never wanted to repeat that again. It was July 2018. He passed out doing a Ramblecast and
right. Oh my God.
I had like in Boston and Matt all like frantically calling me to be like, we need to get somebody to go check on Jack. Anyway, that was a whole almost 5 years ago. But anyway, so he said that I was talking to him today, and he was like, "I don't feel good, and I can't do it." And then we found out that 2 of the children have progressed from RSV to pneumonia now, and because they went to the the doctor and the ER respectively. So Jay then, called to see what was going on and said that he sounded pretty horrible. So we're fairly certain that he's going to go to the doctor tomorrow, that he probably also has pneumonia. So good times.
Oh, man.
If you want to hear what he's like, listen to the most recent episode of the Rumblecast After Dark that they recorded on Monday. And Jamie said that he was coughing real bad, and
he sounded a little raspy. I was a little worried. He had been coughing a little bit last week when we talked to him, and then he sounded a little raspy on that old Ramblecast. I went, uh-oh.
Yeah. So kids, man, they'll get you sick like 9 out of 10 times.
They'll do it. The little petri dishes, the adorable little petri dishes that they are.
Yep, and like everyone, RSV is going around.
Big time.
Alex's classroom had it, and one of the little kids ended up with pneumonia too last week. We got a notice about it. So we're just, crossing our fingers and our toes here.
Yeah.
Hoping for the best.
Keep those antibiotics handy.
Zach was like, when can I go over and see and tell Papa to feel better? And I was like, not until Papa feels better. That's why God invented FaceTime.
There you go.
It was also wild because I couldn't remember like who our picks were last week. Zach remembered all 3, and I he was spot on.
Wow.
And then he was just like, I couldn't remember. I was taking notes, and I was like, who sat out again? And he like repeated it like he knew who. So I was like, wow. I think it crossed like a threshold in him, like
very nice,
growing into a big kid.
Yes.
Miami Mike says in the chat, Jack did not get immunity this week. But the Survivor JJC Women's Alliance remains strong. I sent the offer to Elena if she wanted to pop in. She's behind. She didn't get to start watching it until about 8:45. But I was like, here's the link. Come say hi if you join us. So
come swing by.
Swing by.
Listen, they might be voting the girls off that island one after another, but we're just going to keep throwing more in over here. We'll just bring them in here. Doing Cassidy's work. We're doing Cassidy's work.
We're doing Cassidy's work that poor Cassidy seems to not be able to do.
Yikes.
But I guess we can talk about that. Like I mentioned before, we are live on YouTube, we started it. We started fairly on time this week. Actually, we generally aim for about 15 minutes after the episode finishes airing. But let's get into it. DM Rocks says, I have a feeling that Sammy is winning this season. It's funny you say that because I only made like 2 or 3 tweets tonight about the episode, and the first one was, I think Sammy's going home tonight.
I think Sammy really wants to win the game, but we just had a whole episode of him trying to make a move and then not getting anyone on board at all.
Yes, and I couldn't understand, like, it seemed like it, so I don't know what ended up happening, but I'm curious to find out how it got to Janine. But you know what? It didn't seem so much like an indictment of Sammy's game so much as of Cassidy's game.
Yeah, also.
Yeah.
Also that.
So I don't know if we're about to get a big Cassidy arc. I also was worried legit until Owen won immunity. I was pretty convinced that it was going to be either him or Sammy. He got
the monologue, right?
Yep.
Like he got the showcase. I was like, okay, it's going to be either Owen or it's going to be Ryan, because like suddenly we're getting all of this airtime. And
yes.
Nope. Wrong. We were this close. I was this close to being really mad at changing my who's going home pick, because it was Ryan and I switched it to Noelle. It was this close.
Yes. Well, I couldn't remember who I picked. And then Zachary was like, you picked Noelle, remember?
That's what you had kids for Survivor.
Yeah. And then I was like, well, who else? And he was like, I picked he picked Ryan. I can't even remember at this point. So, or James. I think he said that he picked James for Jack, which God,
and then you picked Noelle, correct?
I picked Noelle too. And he's like, you picked Noelle. And he's like, another girl picked Noelle.
He's got it. He knows everything that he needs to know. Yeah. He's got the deets.
All set.
Yeah.
So, Shandy, you have the big responsibility of picking the wrong person for Jack tonight. Because
it's a tradition at this point.
And spoiler, Jack will be in the lead after tonight's episode.
Oh, wow. Okay. So pressure's on.
Yes.
Just a little bit.
A wee bit.
Yes. So how did you guys like tonight's episode? I believe it was called Preposterous, if I remember correctly.
First of all, that's an amazing title. It's just a great word. So I'm excited it got to be used, right? Right off the bat, we got to see Cody's hat is looking pretty shabby and run down. I don't think the beads are on his hat anymore. I think he's pocketed them. The immunity idol is no longer a hat. That thing is looking rough.
Isn't it kind of crazy how much Sammy's like character has just like kind of toned down? Like we thought for sure he was going to be the Tony of this season.
Yeah, we're like, they're going to get rid of him simply because he's so much.
And he's like really toned it down a lot. Or they're just not showing us that, which makes me think that perhaps he's going to be like a final 3 loser, maybe?
Yeah, he's going to roll into the final. Maybe. Or maybe he just was like, he is a salesperson after all. And after he got his like sale wiggles out when he got to go over to the other tribe and take something of theirs, he could just like go with the flow and step back. Because that was a pretty big move to put him up front. And if you're savvy enough and you have to make a call like that, the next move would be to like slide back and let everyone else is busy working in front of you. So maybe he's just low keying it on purpose.
It's funny that you mentioned that, though, because I haven't thought about that for quite a while, that whole scene when he went over and got to negotiate for what he wanted. And thinking back on it now, Carla specifically was not having it with him. But now they're like thick as thieves.
Yep. They're getting along now. But he's kind of... Well, go ahead. Sorry.
Hold on. Can I just say before we move on? I think that's because there was a secret scene or something last week in which Jesse and Carla, like, they talked about how they actually are really super tight. And I wonder if because they're tight, she's aware of what Cody is thinking. I'm sorry, Jesse is thinking in terms of keeping Cody close.
Okay,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The two of them, Jesse and Carla, not only both went to Berkeley, but they were in the same class. Like they were the same graduating year. So they knew each other, right? Like it's safe to say they at least had friends in common, you know,
Berkeley's big.
But they have to have like some cross-reference people or something, you would think.
No,
I think like sharing.
I think they've confirmed that they knew each other before.
Oh, really?
I think so.
That's such a huge advantage.
Kind of is, right? Like,
because I wouldn't like. To me, Berkeley is such a big place that I would not be surprised if two people. I mean, my college was tiny, and there's still like people in my graduating class that I probably didn't know.
Didn't even know.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised, and at the same time, that could still be enough to have a connection with somebody when you don't have any other connections. Yeah. So for me, that's like fine. Like that's kind of how I was reading it. I didn't realize they actually knew each other. That really changes everything. But then Jesse did say at the top of this episode that Carla feels like, you know, family. Like it reminds him of a family, of his own family members. So
yeah, absolutely.
And that just could be a rumor I heard where, you know, somebody started the rumor that they knew each other and it just kind of took off because, you know, they can't actually like confirm or deny it until you know, Jeff is asking them.
We have learned that even when they are asked things upon being booted out of the game, that they can still hold a secret, because the whole Twitterverse was a thunder once we found out that Jesse was actually the holder of Janine's Dwight idol.
The whole Twitterverse, I feel like just the whole like Survivor community had to have been
like, what? Because we've been hearing all week, there's been all these interviews of this is the rules of Survivor. Yes, Dwight took it, had it, like, and if you walk out with it, they can't have it back. And like Jeff came in to confirm. I mean, it was a whole thing. And then all of a sudden we've got Jesse, and it's like, psych. So yeah, they're good at keeping secrets, whether they're still in the game or not. There's more that's going to come into light, I think, as this season goes forward.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But how badass is that? Because even Janine in her confessional when she left.
I know.
Literally nobody knows. And that's so exciting because we finally have somebody with an idol that nobody knows.
Right. Yes. Right.
Yes. And then it got me thinking about like production and how much this is probably why the like steal the idol thing is like such a big deal to them, because I think that they're catching on, that everybody tells everybody that they have an idol and no one can keep it quiet because they're bored and they have to have conversations and they're trying to earn trust. So how do we make it so we're like, people don't know who has what again?
Yeah.
And now this advantage is really actually panning out for production. So that's nice to see after a couple big fumbles.
Yeah.
Right. Which is kind of hilarious that the whole utility of the advantage is not for the player who has it. Like, it's not really an advantage for the player who gets it. It's never been played correctly. And it's not like the aim of it. The aim is just to mess with everyone else.
It's just for the sake of chaos and being able to redirect, you know, a story arc, or to get somebody to portray somebody else. So, I mean, I'm not against it. It makes for great TV. I'm glad that it's getting used somehow. But you look at, like, was it last season? No, season before last, when they first had it, immediately it was like chaos came because somebody was told that it existed.
Mm-hmm.
So the key is to future players, if you actually want this advantage to work in your favor, you have to tell nobody because it quickly becomes advantage to everyone else in the game except you.
Yeah. And I will say, I mean, this time around, like, once again, you know, James told people and he was trying to build trust, and that's probably not the greatest idea because the last person on this season that had it and told people got swiftly voted off. But I will also say that even without him telling people, people suspected it because now they've seen some patterns for a couple of the seasons, the 40s seasons. So they know that, like, at this point, it's probably going to be knowledge is power.
Yeah.
And they have been keeping to a pretty tight schedule, right? Like since they have been doing these in Fiji on repeat, it's like the same things are kind of happening in the same weeks. And it's weird because it's sort of getting the same layout that like Big Brother has. Big Brother's been on for 24 seasons. So now in the 24th season, they know when it's going to be, they know when it's going to be like a double eviction. They can suspect when that secret double eviction is going to happen and when certain twists are going to happen. And it's happening in Survivor World too, all the way down to like the how many players are going to sit out so that there's rice. Like this is the exact same week it happened the last 2 seasons.
Well, Jeff even started out by saying that, like, a smart Survivor player knows that now on day 16 we do this.
Here we are.
I mean, my suspicion is that, you know, give it a couple more seasons, they're gonna mix it up again, because that's how it's always been through all of
throw them for a loop and completely change it up and
yeah.
Switch the days or like, yeah. I mean, what is he going to do? Be like, now 6 people have to sit out to get
right. Right. I mean, even like, you know, next season, will they start with 3 tribes? Well, you know, at some point they're going to go back to 2. And it's so like, I think they like to do that where for a couple of seasons, we're going to follow kind of the same script. And then just when people start getting comfortable and think they know the game, then we switch it up.
Yeah. But usually they like go overboard on switching it up and then have to like pull it back and course correct because
we've got to like get that
screaming about
pendulum to come back into a realm of reality. Yes.
Right. It's so funny though because they keep trying to make knowledge is power happen, and it's just like fetch. It's just not happening. At least they stopped the shot in the dark. Like they're still doing it, but nobody is playing it, or they don't even bring it up.
Right, I forgot that was even a thing.
They all forget it's a thing. Like, if you watch any of these like interviews when they're coming out of, they're like, oh yeah, I forgot that it was even a thing. So, I mean, like he's not reminding them.
Yeah.
Why? Are they just like, we need to phase this out? Is he not bringing it up at Tribal? I don't know. Like,
I think they would love though if somebody played it and got it. Yeah.
Well, because the odds are so low that it's going to work out for them. So that like when it does, but if it does work out for them, like it's going to be
huge. Yeah.
It's going to be a big deal.
I mean, but you think about even tonight, you know, Janine, she got voted out in a landslide. So, you would think like, okay, that would be a time to use it, but like she didn't know that was coming, right? Like,
right.
If we believe what we saw, you know, it seemed like they had enough people sort of on board that maybe she was reassured enough. And the problem is the numbers were still so tight that she needed her vote, so she can't just throw away her vote to do that.
It turns out they weren't.
But it turns out they weren't, so she could have. Her vote did not matter.
What do you think happened there? Because who was it that threw her out? Was it James? Yes,
James threw her out at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, and then I think because it seems like everybody was
and then brought it back.
Ryan, and then all of a sudden we have that like James and Cody were worried about like Janine having something else up her sleeve, and James was the one that seemed to be suddenly pushing for Janine. So I wonder what happened there when we saw that, you know, so many people were like, all right, Ryan, like dude's all the time.
That's a really interesting. It's interesting because on one hand, Sammy, like his game looked really good in one way that he was able to convince pretty much all of Ryan's tribe to vote their own tribe member out when they're like 7 strong, we can sweep to the end. And really, like in these games, if you have a large alliance and you can stick to that large alliance, you will make it to the end as long as everybody falls in line.
3 of the 7
of you 3 of them will make it to the end. And generally though,
to the end, but that whole like concept of let's get down to final 7 and then we all and then it's no holds barred. Then we just go for each other. It will get them to 7.
It's a great plan for the 4 who are like most tightly aligned.
But
there's always somebody that gets picked off before 7.
And Sammy is savvy enough to know that if there is one loose floorboard, in the plank, you can pull it apart. And so he was able to very quickly, it seemed, get them to all like go, oh yeah, sure, okay, let's get rid of Ryan, because Ryan wasn't there to defend himself. He wasn't there to be a presence. He wasn't there to be like, it's easy to get rid of somebody if you don't see them all the time. And then somewhere it was like they were able to shift it because James started bringing this whole like Janine thing in. But it's weird because the only thing I can think of is the only reason why they switched it to her is because she wasn't part of the 7. Like that, there's no other logical reason to get rid of her. She's not safe at all. Like she has none of her faculties. Like she has been like, I have no idea what's going on for like 4 votes in a row. So
yeah, I mean, I think I think it was a good episode for James and a less good episode for Sammy, because I agree that I was impressed with how he was able to like turn everyone in that alliance onto Ryan without them getting suspicious. And I think, to his credit, I think that he realizes that he's on the bottom of the 7. So it behooves the people on the bottom of the 7 to jump ship before they get to 7.
Yep.
So that they can make their own majority.
And there is the problem with a really large alliance is that if you have the right people, some people are going to realize that they're not at the top of that really large alliance.
Yeah, you need everyone to be under the illusion that they somehow are. But I think it was a good episode for James, especially comparing to, last episode, I think was not a great episode for him. It looked like he was really in trouble. But this episode, it started off with him saying he basically had it out for Janine because she had tried to get him out. So that was his target and that was his reason. He can't trust her. It was nobody else had like a real reason. He had a reason.
Couldn't go after Owen because Owen saved himself. So
right, and Owen saved himself. So he was kind of like, okay with changing it to Ryan. But then we got his perspective. Like he told us, by coming towards the end of the episode, like once he actually started thinking about it more, I think he got back to that place of, but Ryan's a vote with me and Janine is trying to get me out. So like, why would we change? Yeah. And got it to go back. Yeah.
How does it go? Don't borrow trouble. That's what my grandma always said. Stop borrowing trouble. James was like, I'm not borrowing trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, Sammy did good in the first quarter. He looked good in the first quarter. James came in the last half, and was he like the player of the week? You think
I kind of think so.
Sammy?
Yeah. James.
No, James.
James. Okay, sorry. I mean,
Sammy gets a gold star for trying.
Sammy gets a gold star for trying. Owen gets points for pulling on the heartstrings and winning immunity.
Yes, that was pretty awesome. I was so happy for him. I love Owen so much. I think he's I want him to go really far.
And Owen Knight isn't Owen Knight like the perfect entertainment reporter name?
It is. It's a good one. And then here's a question I have. This isn't important to the actual outcome of the game, but it's an important question to me. So do you think that Owen's hoodie is this year's Ricard's hoodie and this year's Omar's t-shirt?
What was it? An emu t-shirt? Is that what it was?
Yeah, because Omar had the emu and then Ricard had that brown and tan hoodie. And like my eyes are just always looking at Owen's like pastel, like horizon hoodie that he's got going on. I'm like, that's the hoodie of the season. That's going to be the sellout item of clothing. I mark my words. I know it. That's going to be the one that everyone goes for.
I guess I'm embarrassed to admit I haven't really noticed it.
Well, get to noticing because if you like it, it's going to sell out fast. If he makes it past next week, it's going to be the thing. That's when everyone starts to notice.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Zach to remind me to look for the hoodie next week.
He'll do it. He's on top of it, Rose.
Let's see. Okay, back to who gets the player of the week, I guess, or the gold star, the double gold star, the platinum star, the adamantium star. I guess, it's so interesting though, because James is the one that kind of we figure kind of orchestrated it, but we really didn't see. It was like kind of a throwaway. Like
Yeah.
there was more about Cassidy not doing it than there was about James, and I
kind of feel
don't
like
know
the
what it means.
show doesn't take James super seriously.
Yeah.
Is that weird? I mean, does anyone else share this thought? I always feel like whenever they show him, they kind of show him in this light of like, and then there's this guy. Like, I don't see I don't see them pushing him at like a star quality, like how they really like push certain contestants on you. So that really makes me curious about where his place is going to be towards the end of this game.
I wonder if he just is one of those people that just doesn't give good confessionals.
Maybe he just might not. He often has like a catch in his throat where I'm like, just clear your throat, just clear your throat. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's why.
I think.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, he's been really tightly aligned with Carla, kind of like the whole time,
In the group.
and I think that she hopefully is going really far, and we've gotten a lot from her, a lot of strategy, a lot of showing her as being smart and a good player. So I sort of wonder, I'm guessing out of the two of them that she probably goes farther, and
Yeah.
maybe, that's also maybe why we're not getting as much from him. Maybe he'll be sort of like a middle of the pack vote out in the second half of the game.
Right. And especially since we're clearly we've heard in people previous episodes that they think he's kind of, running the show, so to speak. So I wonder if he does become a target pretty quickly.
Well, because he kind of did run the show today. And again,
yeah.
Like they presented that.
But I have to say though, like Cassidy holding her ground.
Yeah, good on her.
God, that was like, I just wanted to high five her so much, because it's so easy to say something and then someone's like, man, I don't really know. And then like, because you want to stay in a comfortable position, you're like, oh yeah, I can kind of see what you're saying. And she was like, wait, no, is this not annoying everybody else?
No, I loved that she said that in front of James. Like there was at least a man present when she was like, aren't you sick of seeing the women picked off one by one? And I was like, yes, at home we're sick of that too.
Yeah.
We are. We have taken notice of this.
Is that when she was like laying on the beach, like tanning and also multitasking by being a boss bitch?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like,
and then she was like, never mind.
Cassie,
whatever.
Cassidy pants is awesome. I'm like,
yes. So I didn't realize last week that the jury started this week.
Yeah, Dwight didn't even get to hit jury.
And that makes me kind of sad because he made the merge officially.
Yeah, that makes me sad too. And he was so like sweet and nice.
I really liked Dwight.
Yeah.
I feel like he would have given us a lot of like, I hate when there are certain players that get pulled out of the game, but like it's almost like they make the game more fun once they go into jury, because their facial expressions and shared like joy of watching the downfall of other players just adds so much to the game. Like it just brings so much entertainment.
And
I feel like Dwight would have been one of those that's like this the whole time, like just cracking up.
That's and rest in peace, the Ponderosa videos, because that cast and Andrew Savage drunk Ponderosa video is still like my favorite Ponderosa video.
Right.
Come on, it's so funny.
I hate not having our Ponderosa videos.
I know, I miss them.
We do now have our Queen of Ponderosa, so I wonder what kind of tone is going to be set with somebody like Janine going there first.
Oh,
I have high hopes.
Yeah.
And
I hope they give her some like aloe vera. Or
do you think like is that going to scar permanently?
It looks like it will.
It does. I don't know. I think,
but maybe it's just properly
applied like scarring products or something. Because I had a really bad cut in 2020, early into the pandemic, I had a run-in with some thorns while geocaching, and it was like really like bad. And I had asked for scar medications,
Like
and
your
Elena
whole
recommended one actually, and it worked really great because I was really worried that I was going to have
you're
a
gonna
scar,
get
and
gotta
it's
get
barely doing that.
that vitamin. I had like a sudden flash of like you geocaching and getting attacked by thorns. But
It
breaking
did.
news, it wasn't just like a regular flash. It was all like Disney animated.
That's fair.
And I'm just like, you're tangling through the thorns, getting all cut up.
No, I
But the
think they
stuff
were low.
worked.
I stepped on it. It like hit up into my leg, and like
Ooh.
I really had a really bad cut from it. Anyway, whatever. That's neither here nor there. That was
It is the
gross.
most Colleen way to get.
That is it.
To
Yeah.
get injured.
Your feet lead you to lots of injury and damage. Just saying.
Well, you know, I'm pretty durable for now. I tried
great
to
scar,
update on my
but-
broken toe. I tried to untape it.
Right.
Oh, it hurts so bad.
Mm.
I
Mm.
barely made it through Pure Bar, and as soon as I got back in the car, I had the tape in my purse just in case, and I
no.
immediately put it on before I even left the parking lot. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I'm not quite ready for this.
No,
Oh,
no,
man.
foot things count, man. Foot things count. If they're hurting, it's pretty hard to be mobile.
Yeah.
So, okay. Also, I think maybe her,
Janine?
yeah, Janine's scab. It always kind of looks a little gooey, like for lack of a better word.
Well, she
'Cause
hasn't had really
it's the-
proper care, I'm
Right,
sure.
and the humidity and stuff that's there. So
Mm.
maybe like they get it all dried out.
Yeah.
Put some good vitamin E, like antibacterial, like
Soap
something on
even.
it. A proper bandage.
Yeah.
No palm leaf blankets. Just proper bandaging. My gosh.
Speaking of palm leaf blankets, like where are we going with Gabler? I feel like it's like all over the place.
I feel like he's gonna be like 6 or 7. Like he's gonna be right towards either
Like
right
fifth place
before the
cottage?
finale, right before
Is
the
he gonna
finale,
be the
or like
5?
the
Is he
first
gonna
one
be
in
the
finale.
dynamic 5 personality, right? Because like 5 and 4, that's where the big ones are.
I think it could be either him or Cody.
Because we got some really negative stuff about him, and then we get this like huge hero edit. And I'm just like,
Right?
Yeah.
what?
All the
Right?
dedications
Yeah.
and yeah.
And I mean, we're all complex people, so that's nice to see, you know,
Sure.
not just like a one-sided representation of somebody, but it's kind of also confusing.
Well, I wonder if we saw like the negative stuff early on because we needed to justify Ellie and Janine going through the bag. And it's kind of
Mm.
hard to justify someone
true.
going through the bag if they're likable.
Yeah, that's true.
So I kind of felt like that was a bone that they tossed to those two women and their edits.
Yeah. Which they should never have done. And
Yes, very wrong.
yeah.
I
I'm
didn't
saying,
like
I don't think
Ellie
it's
though, but she deserved it for that reason. And her
I'm just,
horrible-
I will go to the grave with if it is in the rule book that you can use it. I don't have
No,
a problem
I-
with it,
yeah.
but you
sorry, go ahead.
have got to be, you've got to be amazing if you're going to do it. If you're going to cross that line, you have to own what you did. You have to be okay with being the villain, and you have to let nobody know until the time's too late for them to
Yeah.
do anything about it.
No,
Period.
exactly. Yeah. I have no moral like qualms with it. It's just you can't it's gonna really piss people off. So you have
Yeah,
to
it's like
be very
dumping the
stealthy.
rice, right?
Right.
Like if you're gonna dump the rice, you better be a badass that can handle that. Because
Right.
it's
Yeah, because
coming
at the
for
end
you.
of the day, like Shani said, it's gonna piss people off because
It
there's
is.
something about like this is my personal private
Yeah.
property space thing. Like,
Yep.
you know, I wouldn't go through your bag and like put your tampons on display or something. Like, so
Ex-
leave my idol alone.
Especially in an environment where you don't have anything familiar. You know, you don't have a private space.
Yeah.
You don't have anything familiar. You've got nothing from home, you know, be it your one item you get to have. I mean, yeah, it's going to probably bother people a lot more than it even would in just like the average world.
Agreed.
But like I said, don't keep anything in there because that's part of the rule book, baby. There are people who will go through it.
Yeah. Let's see. I had a question and I completely forgot. Carla, we still all good on Carla? She's very hungry.
She's awesome. She's
But we're all very
starving.
hungry.
She's like sitting out in the game with that like underneath like her poncho, like hiding underneath the thing, like when she had to sit out for the rice or whatever. There was a lot of poll talk, and there were a few looks from her. So she just keeps getting like tallies behind her names of like reasons why she is awesome.
Yeah. She's great.
She's
really
us.
great.
She's the us in the group, right? Like she's the audience. So she's the one who's making eye contact with the camera like I heard it. Like,
Yeah. I think the one I wrote down was get ready to add another section of poll. I swear they only do challenges with poles and balls, so we can make
right? And speaking of challenges, I don't know if you saw the video, Colleen, but I came across the video this week that, do you remember, I think it was like 10, 12 years ago, there was the kiddo from the Make-A-Wish Foundation who wanted to design a challenge for the game.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that kiddo, his name is Austin, and Austin Russell. And Austin Russell is now an actual creator of the Dream Teamer. So he is actually helping them create the different challenges. And the challenges we've been talking about, we're excited about because they're so different. There is.
No way.
Isn't that awesome?
That is so awesome.
That's your Survivor heartwarming story for the day.
Well, that's like doubly awesome because it also means he like lives.
He made it. Yeah. Yes. So,
wow.
Yep. And living his dreams, like creating these challenges. And I just think that is so cool. And Jeff thinks it's very cool.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I'm glad we got to see it.
If they were still doing the in-person finales in LA, Jeff would 100% take 15 minutes of screen time on the contestants that played in order to highlight this kid.
Yes.
With an update.
He absolutely would have, yes.
Hey, I'll take that over like a random Cochran sighting. Love Cochran, but like,
Yeah, it's like the same kind of thing, right? No. Yeah. So,
another Boston Rob book plug, yeah. It's kind of crazy that he had 4 daughters and none of them look like him.
At all. They all
look like Amber, and they're all
tiny
like
Ambers. Oh my gosh. Twins, all of them. They all look like Amber. Amber.
I have never seen his kids. I am going to look up his Instagram.
Well, just imagine Amber like 2 feet shorter and 3 foot shorter and 3.5 foot shorter.
Like they all have her eyes and her face shape, and like they're just really, really gorgeous little girls.
Yep, they sure are. They all look just like a mama.
Yeah. All right. Anything else to talk about before we move into the feedback and the tally the votes?
No, I'm ready. I'm ready for this.
I think we're waiting to see if Shandy has found what she's looking for.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Right?
They're just little mini Ambers.
Most people that have that many kids get at least one that look like them.
Right? Nope. Not a single.
Miami Mike, kudos, mad props, Jamie, coming strong this week with the Survivor fun facts.
Bam. Just been doing what I can. Just doing what I can.
All right. Do we want to do feedback? We don't have any emails. So
sorry, I didn't write in.
It's Mandy. Mandy didn't write in.
Mandy. I did see tonight that Roger Sexton, I do not remember what season
he was on Amazon.
Okay. So
Roger from the Amazon died. Sorry,
he has passed away. I saw that right before we started. Mike Bloom had posted that. So
from dementia, Alzheimer's.
Oh.
I think that's what he had. I'm pretty sure he doesn't say it on here, but that's what I remember reading at some point in time.
I clicked on the link and I think it said that. So yeah, rest in power, Roger. That's really sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one more alumni that is gone, but
Wow.
God, how long ago was Amazon? Was that
that's what I mean. It was a while ago because
20
I don't
years?
remember
20
the
years. I
jeez.
think Rob had an
Probably.
Instagram about how they had left 20 years ago last week.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's wild.
Let's see.
That's crazy. I did not watch Survivor then, but it's one of the ones
Right.
that I caught up on. Let's see. Yeah, 20 years ago. So
2002.
time flies, baby.
Dang.
Hey, Elena's here.
Hey.
Not here, but in the chat. You want to come join us, Elena, real quick?
Come on.
Tell us what you
Come
thought.
Come on.
Live feedback.
It's like really weird. It just like started to sound like an episode of Blue's Clues. There's a little all sorts of sounds.
Never seen Blue's Clues.
I'm
sorry.
Okay with that. I'm sorry that you've missed out. It's a joyful.
It was very cute.
Joyful experience.
All right, let's get into the tally the vote.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up on the screen here.
Just
So
watch everybody
while I
pass
do
me
that, I can tell you all that I believe for as far as Janine goes, let me pull hers up. I believe that I am the only one that does not get a point. I think Jack and Jamie both had merge. I had pre-merge. If I am correctly. Problem is I crossed her out already. So yes. Okay, here she is. You both had merge. I had pre-merge. So that means that I don't know why it's Jamie has 4 tallies. Jack had you have 4. Yeah. Jack has 6 and I still have 5. And then as far as last week, nobody got it right. Jamie and I had Noelle and Jack had James. So that's where we stand on this. Anybody want to talk through who we think is going home next week?
You know what? I think I'm going to put James's name out there.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping Cassidy got irritated. We'll see what happens. Let's see.
Hold on. Trying to copy.
I mean, I really have a loss for anybody else, really. I don't feel like anyone else is just necessarily ripe for the picking. So I'm going with James. I'm hoping Cassidy has enough fire in her belly to make some moves.
To get more than one other person to vote for her, who's now gone.
Yes.
Yeah. I for Jack, not because this is what I want to happen, but I'm gonna go with Owen.
Not my Owen.
I know. I mean, it really depends on if that 7 does indeed stick together for a little bit longer, but he was a target.
Yeah.
We've seen that James is, good at getting people out when he really puts his mind to it. And he really did have a bone to pick with Owen for having voted for him. So
he did. Well, and I think that Noelle, like now that it's been talked about out loud that it's just one girl after another, I think we're going to see the girls band together. So
hopefully, but
I don't know.
Too little, too late. Like what's left to band together with?
That should have happened a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yep. But I think Noelle is I wouldn't put Noelle back out there for my danger place. So you might be right with Owen. He's illogical.
Again, not what I want to happen, but we also did get more of his backstory in this episode.
We did. We got his epitaph. Like
yeah. I think Shandy might be right about Owen, but just to talk it through a little bit more, I could see Cassidy trying to go scorched earth because she was mad and trying to make a move, and her,
it could be Cassidy. Yeah.
I could see Cassidy going out. I could see Sammy overplaying his hand.
But wait. Did the commercial, didn't it say there's two? There's two
Two
idols
immunities.
out
Oh
the
Yeah.
draft.
shoot! Okay, we have to pick two. We can
So
pick
there's
two, and it
two.
doesn't matter the order when we do it. So we could pick like Owen and Noelle, and if Noelle goes out first and Owen second, then oh shoot, you're right. My guess is it's going to be a male and a female. So you all make your assumptions accordingly, but that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep James, and then I will. You know what? I'll put Cassidy on there.
Okay.
Yeah, she was on the wrong side of the vote tonight, which is going to piss people off. Also,
just for fun, how many women are there left?
Carla,
Hold on, let me go down the list. And okay,
Cassidy, Noelle,
That's it.
3,
Noelle.
That's it.
I think it's Noelle, Carla,
and Cassidy,
Cassidy.
3. Yep.
Well,
And then there were 3. Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know. Then maybe I'm wrong about a man and a woman, because that would be pretty sadistic. Also, a super huge like buzzkill that production would about if it went down.
We can't have this. We cannot have this. No, we cannot. Have you seen what's going on in the world? We've got to keep a few more girls around.
That's
Now's
true.
the time. Now's the time.
Okay, so everybody vote accordingly. Because now I don't even know.
So what if, okay, there are 2 necklaces, and you know, sometimes they do like one, like they divide it up into, you know, one for a man and one for a woman.
Yeah.
What if, because I was thinking when I saw that, I was like, oh, what if it's one of each? And then I was like, oh, there's only 3 women left, so like statistically that's not fair. But then I was thinking, why not do that? Because then it's like, well, hey dudes, the consequence of banding together is that you will have a harder time winning this one immunity, and the women will have a statistically easier time winning, you know, like that one immunity. They'll have a 1 in 3 instead of like a 1 in whatever.
Man, I cannot believe we're down to 3, just 3 of them.
I can.
One might argue they went home like 7 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's funny, right? Because normally when you start seeing one group of people getting pegged out like one after another, it almost becomes a part of the storyline that they're showing us. But they really haven't talked about this at all until
today.
Tonight.
Yeah.
They haven't even mentioned it. And to know that we're down to 3 before it ever became part of the storyline conversation, that's what surprises me.
Which I'm sure the women have been talking about it for longer.
Surely.
We just haven't been shown it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about how, oh, you know, like everybody's out here just like this group of people, like Ryan was saying, this group of people just, we all can take a step back and, you know, like just really enjoy where we are. And we're like, oh, honey, no, no one's doing that. Yeah. But I mean, there's been a lot of those kind of conversations at Tribal, like where everything is like, we're a different kind of people doing this game. Like we have a different mentality than every player before us. So maybe that took up our, like, have you noticed that you're voting the same, like one lady out after another lady out after another lady out?
Yeah. Okay, I have decided no, because when it's not directly affecting you or your demographic, you tend to notice it less unless you are intentionally being aware of that. Which I can understand. Yeah, if you're starving and you're focused, you know, sometimes our best traits don't always come out.
And we really haven't seen any, like, guy. It seems like every season there's one guy that is either like, let's start an all guys alliance, or sometimes it's the same guy will go, I'm like, it's really paranoid that there's going to be an all girls alliance. That it happens almost every year, but we haven't heard that this year either. Well, that's just because they just get them paranoid and then vote them out. You're paranoid. You have to get out.
Although we did have talk on at least 2 of the tribes early on of women's alliance, and then it didn't really happen.
And the very first woman to really want to do it went home.
Yeah.
I love Mariah. Okay,
so great.
What are we thinking? Jamie, you still want James and Cassidy?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with them.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna go Owen and Cassidy. I think that Ryan is, even though Ryan isn't playing like the most aggressive game and he's
Right.
mostly fishing, obviously he's still, like paying attention to what's going on, and he just got a vote from Cassidy, so he probably won't appreciate that very much.
No.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to stay fairly safe as long as he doesn't win any challenges. I mean, he does bring
I
food.
don't know. How many other times do we see players we're convinced they're safe and they like go home the next week?
Well, I mean, if my track record on points is anything, I'm usually wrong. So maybe don't listen to my fan fiction that I am constantly creating in my head. It might not be what really happens.
Yeah. This is tough because if it's going to be broken up men and women, I don't think Carla's going to go. I don't know. We saw a lot of Cassidy tonight to set that
A
up.
lot.
But I do think that if it's between her and Noelle, I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. To be fair, I don't know. I mean, do you think they really are setting it up like dividing men and women?
I don't know. I think it's also entirely possible that they like pull a fast one on the contestants, and they're like, top 2, go for it.
Yeah, because I sort of assumed that it was just going to be top 2, but I thought it would be great if it was divided by gender.
So, I thought it was divided by gender until I sat down and counted and was like,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, I could be wrong, but I think that when they do that, it's usually there's more of like an even split. But I also could be misremembering all of the different times throughout the years that they've done that. But the thing is, like, there's even-ish splits, and then there's this season.
Right. Did they do a double immunity last year? Like a double individual immunity?
I do not remember.
I can't remember.
It's all mush in my head.
If we can't remember, then the answer is probably no. But somebody in the chat, I know there's plenty of you out there.
Somebody knows.
Please let us know. All right, I have to pick in the meantime. I have to pick my second person. Oh my goodness. Like I said, I it's probably going to be Owen and Cassidy. But for fun, I'll go backwards, even though it doesn't matter. We'll say Cassidy, and you know what? I want the record to state that I thought Sammy, but I also didn't want to totally copy Jack's ballot. So you know what? I will go with Cassidy and Sammy.
All right.
Okay.
I could see Sammy becoming a target too. I mean,
yeah.
Because he's playing hard, and Cassidy
that's
is
just it.
hard.
That's just it.
You know what? I'm going to go with Noelle and Sammy.
All right.
Okay.
Go for it.
Because not to be whatever, but
not to be whatever.
I could see Cassidy having more ties because Noelle's allies have all gone home.
Yeah.
So like, not to be like whatever down on Noelle.
Like Cassidy, like Carla might actually try to do something to save Cassidy, but not so much Noelle.
I don't even know. Like I think that Carla will be safe because of her relationship with Jesse, and Jesse's pretty in with the rest of them. So like I could see a situation where like Carla won immunity maybe, and it was between Cassidy and Noelle, and they had more of a bond with Cassidy than Noelle. Or Noelle is like seen as like a Janine lackey. Or she just, you know what? I'll just keep it. I'll keep it. Cassidy and Sammy, done. Final answer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think, somebody we didn't talk about in all this, like we've run all of the risks on everybody, but somebody that we really haven't said anything about running on a risk is Cody. So does that mean Cody, I mean, Jesse's got advantages. We know where Jesse's kind of sitting right now, but do you think Cody is sitting in like as equally of good a place? Like we don't sense any danger with him at all right now.
I think that Jesse must low-key feel on some level that Cody has, is somebody that he needs to keep at bay. Because I do wonder if maybe like, Cody's Cody-ness in the first couple of episodes that we saw, first couple of days rather, he was there, make it more like Leary, like he is going to go rogue and do his thing, more so than a Gabler.
Right. Yeah. Also, I mean, it could just be like you were talking about with Jesse. Like Jesse might have a little bit to do with having the reins on him. We'll see.
Yeah. Miami Mike says, "Come on, Shandy, you're not supposed to do the logical picks for Jack and just screw him over and go for Carla."
I don't want to put that out into the universe, though. They're like my two favorites.
I know.
I love them.
I think they're really all of ours, right? And what'd you say? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, they're great. Going back to Sammy, though, Colleen, I think that's like, I could definitely see that too, because I think that Sammy has been playing a good game.
Yeah.
I am very impressed with him for a 19-year-old.
I mean, I'm impressed with him for a whatever-year-old, honestly.
Still,
like, I don't...
Mature 19-year-olds for 19-year-olds in the situation of like 19 and 20-year-olds. And then there's like mature 19-year-olds that are holding their own with like 28 through 35-year-olds.
No, sure, definitely.
But yeah, I hear you. I understand.
Yeah. And I was really impressed at the beginning of this episode when he was able to sort of switch things around without anyone getting a whiff of like why he was doing it. And so even though his plan didn't work out in the end, I think that's going to be the question mark going forward, is when is somebody going to figure out why he was trying to switch it around, and how much is he going to keep trying to push that? Because if he can do that at some point successfully, then I think he can keep going far in the game. But his downfall could be somebody realizing like he's trying to turn on the 7 and he's doing a pretty decent job of it. So it's time to go.
If anyone gets a whiff of that, he's in big trouble. He's going to be fighting for individual immunity from that point to the end of his game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't turn against the Alliance loudly.
Loudly. Unless if you're Tony. If you're a tri-state Italian, people will think it's weird if you don't do something loudly.
Like they'll be like, "Oh, it's just Tony. It's endearing." Then it's okay. It's just Tony.
He's just being Tony. Sung to the She's Just Being Miley. That was a karaoke song I did a lot when I was in my early 20s.
Okay, I just want to throw this out there to back up my previous statements. There is a very long-winded thread that started 10 days ago on Survivor Reddit all about Owen's sweatshirt. So
my God, okay, well you're gonna have to send us the link to that Reddit.
Get it while the getting's hot. It's gonna sell out.
Send me and Shannon that link. I will click on it. So then when, you know how the Reddit app gives you the daily like push notifications or whatever of like the hot threads you'd be interested, then at least it can then forever send me any future threads about
Terrible 40s says that after going through the link, they have looked everywhere for a few days, sold out at all sites.
Wow.
It's the item. I just knew it. I felt it in my bones.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a sweatshirt. Well, except for all those people that are going to be affected by climate change and it's too hot for them going forward. But
you don't need a sweatshirt when you're boiling to death. I know. What a silly request.
Well, they're just going to have to make that sweatshirt in like a super hipster t-shirt version.
I would like the tank. I would like the tank version, please.
Right.
Which they do. All right, though. Any last thoughts before we wrap the show up? Last thoughts. What have I missed anything?
Oh, one last question for you. Do you think that Jeff is trying to replace "Sorry for You" with the vibe of the tribe as the new Survivor catchphrase? I haven't heard a single "Sorry for You," but I've heard "Vibe of the Tribe" a handful.
Let's try to make that happen.
Yeah, it is. It is like the fetch thing. I mean, it's because he got, when we got rid of the "come on in" guys, like that was one of the biggest catchphrases. So it's like he's been kind of trying to pocket a new phrase like every season. And
well, you know what, Jeffy boy, it's really hard to replace something you've been saying for 20 years in 2 years. So
it's
keep
true.
at it.
It's true. It takes time. It's gonna take time.
Or he could just say, "Hey, come on in."
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. I did wonder though if he has been reading philosophy, because he was talking about how every season they have to make a unique social contract, and I was like, talking about the social contract, I was like taken back to my days in grad school trying to read Rousseau. Okay, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean,
didn't Jeff turn like 60 something last week?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then he did SNL. He's been, he's in a whirlwind. He's in a whirlwind.
He's been living out all his late middle-aged fantasies.
The bucket list is getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah, he turned 61 last week on November 4th.
Good job. Good job, Jeff.
Yeah.
Good job. 61-year-old Dimples. You got it.
But yeah, it kind of makes you appreciate all that Botox all the more.
You bet.
Anyway, on that note, everybody, thank you so much for listening. If you have any feedback, we'll love to hear it. survivorjjc@gmail.com. Thank you to the patrons, especially the ones that contribute at a certain level, and that would be Eckhart Rickner, Tack from Tokyo, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with a Plan, Ed the Creepy Mailman, and we have a new patron at that level, and that would be Jack from Singapore.
Yay!
So yay and welcome.
Wow, from Singapore, we have such international patrons.
It's so cool.
That's a ways away.
Surprised and impressed.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jack from Singapore.
Yeah. Also a little jealous that if I am doing the time change correctly, and I have no idea how TV works, but I don't know, Jack from Singapore, if he watches Survivor, he might get to watch it at 12 o'clock in the afternoon on a third. Like, it's just so jealous.
That's like watching Jeff in the future.
That's like
time travel
in the past.
Yeah. Woo.
Everything everywhere all at once.
This is why the Swiss cheese brain happens when you time travel. Who can keep track?
Who can keep track? All right. Anyway, thank you all, though. If you'd like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/JandJack. Yeah, I don't have anything else. It was great to talk to everybody. It was a fun episode. The editing team is really working real hard to turn something that could be very well told in 5 minutes into 18-minute storyline. So like mad props, guys. They're working hard.
We don't believe in neat, clean package reels in this universe.
Yeah, like CBS could have easily picked just another commercial break and that would have been fine. But they were like,
ideas.
Oh, poor Shandy had to watch live for the first time today, and she went 2-minute commercial break, or what is it, 90-second commercial breaks on
it's zero commercials.
Oh, zero.
When you watch it the next day, it's zero commercials.
Oh,
yeah.
I think now I'm like, wait, right? But when the first commercial came on, I was like, what? Yeah, no, it's zero commercials, because you'll talk about the commercials sometimes on the podcast episode, and it's just
like
a
the time I had
surprise
to tell Zachary what Kegels were.
Right. I'm like,
that's what the commercial breaks are for. Really getting into the gritty.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you for bearing with the commercials to talk to us tonight, Shandy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Commercials are not that bad. It's a great time to have a bathroom break. Lord knows we like a good bathroom break or 5.
There's no lie there.
True.
Yeah.
It's true.
You should be a politician. I campaign on bathroom breaks. Literally affects 100% of the populace.
Literally.
Bring back our bathroom breaks.
Right? I don't know anybody that would argue against that. that is something that Ted Cruz and AOC
They can come together.
No.
Yeah,
100% and
I
fit.
agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good times. All right. Thanks, guys. On that note, we'll see you next week. Next week, actually, we might be live on Thursday instead of Wednesday. Stay tuned in the Facebook group for an announcement on that. Yeah, we'll see. And we'll see how Jack is feeling. So everybody send him good medicine vibes.
All the good juju.
Yes. All right. On that note, my name is Colleen.
And I am Jamie.
And I'm Queen of Ponderosa.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye.
I was waiting for the